Bench Has Spoken, a Survivor podcast from Bench Points Network. Each week, we watch the latest episode of Survivor and provide recap, commentary, and predictions on the next episode. As we are in between seasons now, we're actually just talking all things Survivor tonight, all about romance. I'm Mary. This is Becca. We are longtime friends, longer time Survivor fans. So, Becca, you want to kick us off?
Yes. So this week, Mary had a fabulous idea. It is early February and it is the month of love. Valentine's Day is coming up. So we are going to start this episode by talking about some survivor couples and couples that were formed on Survivor and relationships that bloomed on Survivor. And Mary has done some research. She's really put in the time. So I'm going to kick it over to Mary so she can go through some of the most iconic survivor relationships.
Thank you, Becca. And I want to say this was actually your idea. You just don't remember. You could go or so. So I just want to steal credit from you.
So, Mary is going to kick us off with some of the most iconic survivor relationships.
Thank you. Okay, so I feel like we we posed this question to TikTok earlier, and someone actually was like, "This is a stupid question. The answer to the most memorable Survivor couple is obviously Rob and Amber." So I feel like we have to start with that because I mean it really is. I feel like even people who are not huge Survivor fans would be aware of Rob and Amber. But I did some digging, and I feel like I don't think I realized how prolific their reality TV and how, like, much they stretched this relationship out over various TV deals and stuff. So, lots of interesting things to talk about here. So, first of all, we know that they were both on separate seasons and then came together on All Stars, which is where they met. They immediately formed a bond, lots of flirting. They were on the same tribe, then they weren't, and finally got back together after the merge. And by the time we saw the live finale, right before she was declared the winner, he
Go and
proposed
on.
and she said yes. And history was made. Might be the first reality TV couple that wasn't like a married at first sight sort of situation.
Questions. Do you think they
Yes.
watched each other's seasons before they met on All Stars? And if so, do you think that they knew that they liked the other one before they started?
I definitely think they watched each other's seasons because I feel like Survivor was still, like, new enough and exciting enough that everybody was who got into it was, like, still into it. And I'm sure I don't know, I guess I would definitely say that she watched his season because she was on it first. I'm assuming he watched her season, but I don't yeah, I will say yes, I think so. And I'm sure that there was probably a little bit of crushing going on. I mean, Rob's a handsome man, she's beautiful, so it would make sense. What about you?
Yeah, I think they probably did, but I'm just curious, like if they knew, like, oh shoot, I'm gonna like this person, or if it because it was quick, right? Like if they just played All Stars and
Yeah,
then immediately
right.
got engaged. Mary, I don't want to apply pressure, but so that means that Rob and Amber would have known each other for like 30 something days, right? Before they got engaged.
No, because they did a live finale, so it was
Okay, so
however
maybe
many months late.
60 days. Okay. So they were several months. For the people who are watching, if you don't know, Mary has blown that record out of the water. She met her husband and then married him like 45 minutes later. It wasn't 45 minutes. How
This
long was it, Mary?
almost. So we went on our first date January 18th, I think, and we were engaged by it was before Valentine's Day, we were engaged, and then we got married on March 4th. So
And they've been married for over 10 years. So, ladies and gentlemen,
2012.
it can happen. Just like Rob and Amber, if you think that was quick, got nothing on Mary.
I still think that it's crazy for people to get married that short amount of time. Like, if I hear people say that, I'm like, "Mm-mm," but I did it. And also what's interesting now that you say that though is so Rob and Amber would have spent, some portion of 39 days together, um,
But
and
not in
then
real.
had some right, and that's like I mean, not really dating, like connecting in different ways for bits of time here and there. I'm assuming they, like, full on started dating as soon as they got back home, but I don't think they lived near each other right away and stuff like that, so, probably was at best a long distance relationship for a amount of time before they got married and were together. But I met my husband the first time for a few hours, we played in an adult field day together. So, like, think about when you're in 6th grade and you have field day at the end of school year. It was something like that where we were just playing, like, games outside with a bunch of people. So we interacted a little bit and strategized a little bit, and then we were separated, and then we started dating and got married. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's the exact same story, but it's very
It's
similar.
very, very similar. They're very aligned. You're practically Boston Rob and Amber. I'm calling her Amber. That's what he calls her.
You should go yeah, she goes in for Halloween.
That's
So,
write that down. Halloween 2026. Your son is gonna
I
have
wanna
to
be
be an
Rob though,
immunity idol.
because what's that?
Your son's gonna have to dress up like an immunity idol or Jeff Probst. Dress the baby up like Jeff.
Cute. We should do a Halloween costume contest for people that follow us or listen to us.
Well, that's a great idea.
But everybody has to dress up as their best version of Jeff Probst.
We all need fishing shirts.
So, some things that I learned that I'm sure I knew, but I just had, like there was not space for this in my brain for the last 20 years. There was a hour and a half long TV special called Rob and Amber Get Married that CBS produced. So it followed, like it was from when they got engaged, like the wedding planning, all the drama that goes into, like, making all the decisions and people their families fighting over what was gonna happen and just stressed and crying and all this kinda stuff. I mean, it was like I went back and watched a little bit of it tonight before we started recording, and it's the most, like, 2005 thing you've ever seen.
That's amazing.
It's got a little bit of Four Weddings, a little bit of Bridezilla, a little bit of, like
Say yes to the dress.
yes, I mean, it's just classic early 2000s reality TV. And not only that well, first of all, you can watch that whole thing on YouTube for free.
Do you think
That's a
that means
PSA.
CBS fit the bill for their wedding?
I'm almost certain that they maybe didn't pay directly for the wedding, but paid them enough money for the special
To
that
take
they could
care
have
of it.
the wedding. It was nice. I mean, it was like a beach wedding with a bunch of guests. The reception area was beautiful. It was like an enormous hall with all these, like, elaborate decorations and stuff. Um, so I'm sure. And they seem to be sort of, like, traveling all over the world maybe, if not the United States, like, looking for things for their wedding. But I skipped a step because before that, they were on Amazing Race together, which I don't watch that show, so
How
I
did they
didn't know. I know
place?
when you I don't know. Let's find out.
I will be doing some research on that as we talk.
Oh,
I
yeah.
watched The Amazing Race. I would not say I watched every single episode of every single season, but I'd say in the last 5 years, I probably have. I obviously, my number 1 chose Survivor. After Survivor, I think The Amazing Race is my second favorite, like, competition show. I think it's fun. I think it's really fun.
Kinda mad at myself because 'cause I've watched Amazing Race, like, I watched earlier seasons of it, like, when it first came out, and I remember liking it, I just kinda gave up on it, I guess I just didn't need that in my life since I had Survivor, but
We should apply.
I wanna it seems
Okay,
like they must have go ahead.
they were actually on The Amazing Race twice. The first time they placed 2nd, and then they came back, in 2007 and did an all-stars, look at them, and placed 8th.
Hmm, bummer. They were too busy worrying about their family in
And
2008, probably.
canoodling.
Yes. The
We should
other
do
thing
Amazing
that I
Race
found
Marathon.
out
I think
yeah,
we would do well.
I think so too.
I think we'd make
You
a good
can
team.
literally get anybody to tell you anything and help you with anything, and I'm good at math.
Good at directions and smart at spelling. Those are very good qualities to have. Vocabulary, I'm telling you. We complement each other
Let's do it.
nicely. Yeah.
Okay, I found out one more thing. This is a wild card. I don't think I had any idea that this happened, but there was another reality show based around Rob and Amber. It seems like it was a series, so not just like one episode, but they had a whole series on Fox Reality Channel, which, you know, back in the day, I guess was a thing called Rob and Amber. That was anticlimactic because I can't read my own handwriting against the odds. And it was focusing on their move to Las Vegas. And Rob was trying to be a professional poker player. And he was using his reality show winnings to try to become a professional poker.
I'm down for watching that. Is that
Which
also very early 2000s
that's
TV?
maybe in between next season, we could watch Rob and Amber against the odds and Rob and Amber get married.
Yeah. Rob and
That'd
Amber.
be fun.
Their whole lives. And they've been on The Amazing Race. They've played on Survivor a bazillion times. he's been on Traitors multiple times.
Traders.
And I'm sure there's a million in between that where he's made cameos. Do you think they've made this their whole career?
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine they're doing anything else. They probably are doing, like, brand deals and Cameo and stuff like that too. Interesting.
Good stuff. So that was the most popular response, and I'm gonna read the comment verbatim, the one that said was dumb. It said, because we ask on social media, what's the most memorable Survivor romance? And let's see here. Jeanette McDonald said, for me, this is a really stupid question because obviously it's Boston Rob and Amber. I mean, seriously, years and years of marriage and 4 beautiful girls. You can't get better than that. You're so right, Jeanette. You are so right.
The 4 beautiful girls part cracks me up. I don't know why. It just makes me laugh, like, it made me feel sound like
Do you think
I hope
Jeanette
Jeanette does
is
know them.
Amber undercover?
Could be, or Rob, or one of the daughters,
Maybe, maybe. It's
or,
like, do you
like,
watch Wheel of Fortune ever?
Sharon. Uh-huh.
Well, on Wheel of Fortune, when they say, "Who's with you?" and they say, "My loving husband and 4 wonderful children," like they always use lots of adjectives. That's what that reminds me of.
Yes. Okay. So, I mean, we started with the best. We can only go downhill from here, right? But I would say that while they might be the most iconic and, depending on what your definition of this is, the most successful couple from Survivor, they are the Trista and Ryan of the Survivor world. I think that there are some other relationships that could either be controversial, only existed for one of the people, and was not even a thought for the other person,
I love a
or
romance from a
yeah,
TV's
something
perspective,
that
not in
were
real life.
strategic only. Okay, let's talk about Dee and Austin from season 45, because this one always stands out to me, and I feel
Very
like,
cute.
okay, they were, but I always felt like Dee was using him, and
I
I
kinda
think
got
I'm the
that
only
vibe.
one who thinks that.
No, I kinda got that
Based
vibe.
on everything I see and read, it feels like people are like, "Oh, they were so cute. It just didn't work out." But it seemed like maybe parts of it through the season felt legit, but I think definitely as the season went on and as they got closer and closer to the finale, it became clear to me that Dee was like, "I'm in this for myself. I can't let this dude stop me, but I will use him to get further." And I'm not saying that I hate her for that or anything like that, but I do remember feeling really bad for him and thinking like, "Ew, you're delusional, buddy."
When they
So I don't
held
know, do you think it
hands
was
in the helicopter, I remember, like, vividly remember being squealing, being like, "Ah," because I was really happy for Austin, and I thought, maybe, but I think it's kinda situation. Have you ever, witnessed a scenario where there's been, like, a lot of guys and 1 girl, or a lot of girls and 1 guy, and then whoever the individual is that's, like, opposite of everybody else is, like, a hot commodity because they're the only one.
Mhm.
And I kind of feel like
Yeah.
that was how Austin and Dee were, is like they were the only 2 that were relatively the same age. They were the only 2 in like relatively the same lifestyle. There were only 2 relatively attractive. Please don't let me offend anybody else that was on that season. But like all the stars lined up to where it was like it was almost like they were cast to be a match. Like they have very similar, they were both very adventurous and all that stuff, that I feel like it was kind of like like we both, I don't know, I'm not speaking for them because I don't know, but it's like we were both kind of set up to do it during this, not do it, be romantic during this season, so they did. I thought they were really cute. I don't know if I saw it pass, but what I'm thinking about with Rob and Amber and also Dee and Austin, it's not no surprise to me that in a particular situation, like on a reality TV show, if you do fall in love or like or whatever it is, once you go back to the real world, you're not who you normally are on a reality competition show. You're different. You're a different version of like your normal. So when you go back home and settle in and stuff, like you still have to go to work and take care of children if you have them and do all the things. So like I'm not fun adventure person anymore. I'm just like a regular person, and I could see it kind of falling to the wayside because you're loving a different version of who they are in real life.
Yeah.
That
That's a
was
good
kind of
point.
deep.
No, it was. And I think it's like there's so much to that. What what you said, plus, having to be almost like political and very careful with who you are, and you might be adjusting your personality and stuff like that too. Might not be comfortable being your full self or whatever. But yeah, I actually know someone, I won't say their name, but they used to work on yachts, and it's like below deck type of stuff, and they met someone and they did this yachting thing for years together, and then they decided to get married and settle down, and they weren't even from the same country, and they just chose a place and lived there, and it was like once they got away from basically being on vacation all the time and, like, doing that type of work where they could, like, commiserate on it and stuff like that, it was like, "Well, actually, this isn't gonna work out."
I like
So,
vacation
yeah.
you. The solution to
Yeah,
that problem is go on more vacations
exactly. Mhm. Or, for D and Austin, spend more time in the jungle.
or more yeah, more reality shows. That's maybe why Rob and Amber work so well. They just
Yes!
kept going on reality shows. They've got it figured out.
One more fun fact about Austin is that he's now dating Jeff's niece.
No.
Yeah. So,
Do you
I
think
don't know
he
how he
set him up?
but what's that?
Do you think how do you think they got hooked up?
I don't know, but it sounded like, it was a surprise to Jeff when he found out, so I don't think he, like, set them up. But they're
Interesting.
super cute together, you should look them up.
I'm curious, how they met, or I wonder if she reached out to him or if he reached out to her. Everybody slides in people's DMs nowadays. I think that's how people meet each other.
That's the new Tinder.
Yeah, sliding in.
It's a
Interesting.
shame.
It's a different lifestyle people live.
Alright, working back from there, we have 44. I was like, maybe they are my favorite. Let me take a look real quick. I think this is my favorite, like, adorable couple. It's
Okay, let's
Frannie
hear
and
it.
Matt from season 44. So Frannie, and Matt were both kinda nerdy. I think Matt is so cute, um, and sweet. And
Yes,
they
they are cute.
so they kinda, like, flirted on the show and stuff like that, and then after production, started dating full on and are still together to this day.
They are? I'm very excited by that and shocked by that.
Yeah.
They were
I mean,
cute.
I feel maybe they were, like, most likely to be themselves on the island or something. I don't know. They were super cute. Okay. I wanna switch gears a little bit to talk about some relationships that were literally just showmances and the different ways
Showmance.
people
Good
use
word.
sexuality and relationships and attraction for the game. So we have the season Micronesia, which is basically the Sybaris season in my mind. Just very flirty, a lot of canoodling going on, etc. So on this season, the two standouts were James and Parvati and Ozzy and Amanda. And I would even say a little bit of a triangle with Ozzy, Amanda, and Alexis. So do you remember these relationships? I'm not trying to call you out, but I will give
James
a
and
little
Parvati, I
rundown.
do I'm looking at Fozzie and Amanda. Well, if this tells you anything, I went to Google and typed in Ozzy, and then it auto-filled like, one of the Google drop downs was Ozzy and Amanda Survivor. So that's how iconic it is. Either that or Google
Oh,
knows I love Survivor. Yes, I remember both of these.
okay. So what's interesting about these 2 situations to me, James and Parv, it definitely felt just like flirting and
But
maybe
I
just
think
like
they
2
both
sure.
knew it.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I think that James maybe was a little bit more into the idea of, like, I mean, I don't know if he thought they were gonna get married or something, but, like, I think he thought that they had a deeper connection in the game and were, like, stronger together than they actually were. And I think fairly early on, it was obvious that Parvati was, like, using him a little bit, like, "I'm gonna flirt with him to get him to go my way, whatever, whatever," and then when the time came, she was like, "Okay, now I'm going to drop you, and you're gonna get voted out," right? So I think that's interesting just in general. I don't know that we see that as much today, or at least the editing doesn't show as much of that, 'cause I think they're just trying to get away from that sort of thing, but
But I like it.
definitely saw that more back in the day. Yeah.
That was
Like,
kinda flirty.
even I just yeah, I agree. Um, and then okay, so but the more interesting one to me from that season is the Ozzy, Amanda, and Alexis thing, because everybody's always like, Ozzy and Amanda," and he, like, said he loves her and stuff like that, and she kind of seemed to reciprocate a bit, I would say. Ultimately, though, she was kind of integral in getting in his blind side and getting him out, and I think he was hurt by that, and I think they even, like, dated here and there after the season, but never made it work. But one thing that I think people leave out that I was, like, really invested in because it was just interesting was that there was this other girl in that season, Alexis, and it was like Ozzy and Amanda connected, and then they got split up, and then Ozzy was on Exile Island with Alexis and had, like, a spicy night with her, and then when they all got merged together, like, Amanda was seeing that Ozzy had this connection with Alexis, and she got butthurt, and I think that's why she was like, "Oh, Ozzy, you gots to go because you're a philanderer," but I don't think people talk about that.
Well, no, I agree, and I
Don't
felt
let the drama.
like, if I'm remembering correctly, it felt like Amanda was like, "I don't wanna commit, but I don't want him to have anybody else either," kinda thing. Like, he's off
Yeah.
limits to everybody because we had something, even though I don't wanna solidify it.
Yes, and I mean, if that's just not another piece of evidence that they truly were a Black Widow brigade, I don't know what is.
That's the most
Uh,
iconic alliance of Survivor history. Truly believe that. I truly believe that. Um,
and
I
they were
do.
just so committed to it, like, they really did not hem-haw or waver or I mean, it must have been really hard to edit that season to give any sort of suspense because they were just like, "You're next. How do we do this? We got it. You're done." You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Okay,
Do you
another
think there's
one
Oh, okay.
that
What you got?
no, you go ahead.
No, I wanna know what you got
Go ahead.
on your next docket. I was gonna say, how often do you think people go in knowing they're gonna use, like, a romance tactic? Or do you think it's kind of things that you have to get in there and, like, see?
Yeah. I think that and I don't wanna stereotype too much, so I won't say, like, it's this kind of person or that kind of person, but I do think that there are people who are just, like, more flirty and sexual in nature, and maybe, like, people
Just
who feel
naturally.
like they're super might go into it thinking that they can use that to their advantage, and I think it could go either way. It could be a guy thinking that he can win over girls because of something, or a girl thinking that she can win over guys, or girls and guys, whatever. So I think that there are definitely people who, at minimum, have that, like, in the back of their mind as something they can use, even if that's not what they want their entire strategy to be, or almost the same thing, but not quite. They might know that they like, this is a stereotypical thing, I'm sorry, but, like, a hot girl knowing that she could probably get a nerdy guy to follow
Follow.
her or whatever. So maybe it's not even like she doesn't even need to really flirt. They don't need to, kiss or cuddle at night or anything like that, but just to, like, give a little bit of attention to try to get them to, like,
Sway.
fawn over them, and that could be any combination of people. We are open to all. Love is
Oh,
for everyone.
yes, that's true. I was like, "We're we're what?"
No, I don't know where I was going to go with that, but what about you? What do you think?
I think that same. I think that there are some people that are just naturally seductive, for lack of a better term, and not even like in a sexual way, but just like people are drawn to their personality, and like sometimes people like have the kind of qualities where everybody else wants them to like them for whatever reason. Like naturally charismatic, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I think people have like either like a sexy seductive or naturally charismatic or extremely like have a ton of leadership qualities just naturally. I think it's easy for people to be like, well, I want them to like me. I want to like let them lead. I want to
Yeah.
partner with them. I want to grab onto them because I know they're going to be successful. So that makes it a lot easier for them to kind of sink their talons into somebody. And when people say that's dirty gameplay or that's villainous behavior or whatever, we've talked about this before. Villain's not a bad word, and villain's not an insult on Survivor. I think if you're a successful villain, you want like you go far, and that's great. And the point is to play the game and win. So like whatever you have to do within game rules to play the game and win, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. I don't think.
I agree.
So if people are using their seductive tendencies or charismatic tendencies to like leverage that as a strength and use that to kind of get other people out, good for you.
Okay. I've got one more that I think is fun to talk about, and then I think we have some other things to discuss too. So I just rewatched David versus Goliath, which, by the way, amazing season. I loved it so much. And I thought that there was an interesting little related to romance that I don't know everyone thinks is romance. It's probably just me and my brain looking for examples. So, okay, we have Christian and Gabby, who are both Davids, both
I was
nerdy.
hoping you were
They
gonna talk about
bonded really quickly. Mhm. They bonded really quickly, and they were a strong alliance for a good chunk of the game without any sign at all that one of them was gonna waver and turn on the other. And, I mean, I like Christian a lot, and I think he was a very even-keeled player who, didn't make rash decisions, stuff like that. Gabby, if you don't remember, was crying all the time. She had to be consoled constantly, oftentimes by Christian. She had to be kinda talked down a lot, like, from flipping out about things by Christian and her alliance. But anyway, so she and Christian bonded, they were super close. I felt like there was some chemistry maybe between them or was, like, expecting them to potentially get together. I never remembered him saying anything about a girlfriend, and he probably didn't, I just missed it, but I didn't remember it. Um, and then suddenly, everything's going well. Suddenly, there's a reward challenge that involves family member visits. So Jeff brings out on the beach one family member or, close loved one, I guess, from or for every person, and they get to quickly, like, embrace, have a hug, have a kiss, say hello, and then they're separated again for the challenge. Lo and behold, the person that comes to visit Christian is his girlfriend, whose name I don't even remember. I'll just call him Christian's girlfriend. So she comes running out, they embrace, both are getting emotional, like, super sweet moment, whatever. Well, you could see like, they even edit to show Gabby's face, and she's kind of like this. I mean, okay. So then fast forward, a switch is flipped. Like, immediately she's like, "I don't trust Christian. He's gotta go." She said that it was because she saw that he was comforting his girlfriend and he comforts her, so he's obviously just playing her and using her and all this kinda stuff. And I was like, "If that ain't a jilted lover, I
You
don't
know
know
what that
what
sounds
is."
like? A work wife. You know what I mean? Like somebody
Yes.
that's like on the side, but it's like a survivor wife.
Mhm. But also, like, a work wife who's secretly in love with their work
Yeah, of
husband.
course. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just thought that was funny, and I don't know. I love a good love triangle. I love a good bit of spice and excitement with that, so I thought that was funny, and it made me laugh. The last one I got is Ethan and Jenna from Africa. They were together for 10 years.
Did they
I feel like that's
divorce?
a good I don't think they got married, I think they just dated, but I think that's a fun pairing, slightly unexpected maybe. I mean, obviously, like, once we saw them in the season, it might have made sense, but, like,
They're a
initially.
beautiful couple, and it
Mhm.
looks like the 10 years they were together, it looks like they both grew up together. They were
And
also
I
on
think
The
I mean, she
Amazing
was with
Race.
his fancy scare, I think.
She
I
what?
wanna know, was there just a season where they had, like, couples, like an Amazing Race reality couples, basically? Because it feels
Maybe.
like there were so many couples that were like, there was another couple that were married that were on Amazing Race from Survivor, and I forget, maybe it was Keith and Whitney?
Maybe.
I think we've had some good solid romance. Do you think that there's anybody in season 50 who's gonna
No.
hook up?
No. I think these are veterans. I think these are seasoned veterans that are, like, there to play. I don't think I think they're friends.
Okay, Rob and, Amber were veterans when they came
That's
back,
true. That's true. That's true. I don't think anybody's gonna fall in love. Who would fall in love? Nobody.
and I don't even know which of them are single.
No, I don't know either.
If they were all single, I would say Genevieve and
What about
Joe?
that too, but he's married. I don't know about
Oh,
Genevieve. What
that's
about
right.
Genevieve and Ozzy? Q seems kinda
I
swaggy.
don't
Maybe
think so.
he would pick somebody up.
I would love you. Ugh. Okay, maybe Jenna and Colby.
Colby. Oh, yeah, that would be one I would root for.
What if Coach and Genevieve randomly got together?
I could see her being into older guys. Can I be
Mhm.
totally honest?
Emily and Christian.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna look and see if they're from the same spot, but they're not. And Survivor fans that listen to this podcast probably have a lot to say about this, but apparently Aubrey played 3 times. I remember her 0. Do you
Same.
remember her?
No.
She played 32, 34, and 38. So, like, and she got runner up. Okay, I gotta go back and
I think
watch.
I was in nursing school during that time, so maybe that's what that's my excuse. I think there was one picture of her because I saw, like, somebody put together, like, an evolution of their faces from their first appearance to their
Fun.
last, like, showing each yeah, it was pretty cool. I wish I could remember who it was because I wanna give them credit, but I don't. But I think there was, like, one of her where I was like, "Oh, that's kind of familiar."
I need to go back and watch, Aubrey. And if anybody knows Aubrey, loves Aubrey, big Aubrey fan, tell us your favorite parts about her in the comments. We would love to know because we've got some catching up to do because I've never seen this woman
Yeah.
before in my life. She's like
She's currently our
Sophie B. Or
Sophie.
no, Sophie
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
from 49.
yeah. Sometimes in my head, I think she's Liz, but she's not.
Yeah. She may be lovely,
Okay.
and she may be your favorite by the time season starts. Mary, I know before we started recording, there was one more thing that you mentioned that I'm very, very interested in. So you've got to spill the tea on Jeff Probst's love life. Can you give us an
Yes.
overview of
You
his
sure can.
romances?
So Jeffrey Probst, the man, the myth, the legend, was married for a while to a lady who was just like, I think, a psychologist or something. Then, after he became famous, they got divorced. So he was on the prowl. And he actually, this is like the juiciest one, or the juiciest piece of this, is that he was dating a former Survivor player, Julie from Vanuatu,
Oh,
from 2004 to 2008. Apparently, they took their, I don't remember this, but apparently they took their relationship public at or after the reunion show. So that's interesting. But that didn't last because in 2011, he married one, Lisa Russell, who was a former model, married previously to Zach from Saved by the Bell, or Paul Gosselaar.
no.
Yeah.
She went from from Saved by the Bell to Jeff Probst. What's her last name?
Mhm.
Lisa Russell?
And apparently she was on Saved by the Bell: The College Years, which I did watch.
She must be a hot commodity if she's snatching up all these. She's beautiful.
Yeah. I don't remember her from that show, but she is really pretty. And I think they
They
have,
have
like,
2 kids?
yeah. So, yeah. Well, I guess she was only in, like, bit parts on that show, so that's why I don't remember her, but yeah. And also, I forgot until this moment that Jeff Probst used to have a talk show, and because it says that she was a talent coordinator. That, they've been historically, somebody gets famous for 15 minutes, all of a sudden they have a talk show. Ryan Seacrest had one, Jeff Probst.
I'm a sucker. I will watch him. I'm a sucker.
I just found out that Kelly Clarkson's show is, well, I think it's gonna last through next fall, but she's gonna stop being, like, the full-time host, and then
Dang.
after that, it's gonna go away.
I like the Kelly Clarkson show.
Me too. I love her. She's probably, like, my favorite reality show personality from of all time.
She seems regular, like just a normal human being, which is shocking because she's had so much fame and success. Like she's regular. This is my favorite thing about Kelly Clarkson. My husband and I went to Ireland a few years ago, and people from Ireland would be like, "Hey, you're from America," because we sound like we're from America. And we'd say, "Yeah," and then they would immediately say, "Do you know Kelly Clarkson?" And we're like, "That's funny." Of all the people in America, no, I don't know Kelly Clarkson. I wish I did. That'd be very cool. But of all the people in America, that's like your like claim to fame. But from all over the world. They were like, "Oh my god, do you know Kelly Clarkson?" I thought,
Hilarious.
"Interesting. Interesting."
I love that.
Yeah, no, but if I would have thought, I just would have memorized some Kelly Clarkson lyrics and been like, "Yes, she's actually my homegirl," even though she's
Alright. I have, one final fun little game to play as
this may
we,
be the highlight of the episode.
close it out this week, yes. So everyone is, I'm sure, with the game F, Marry, Kill. We've decided to make a Survivor edition of this game called Sanctuary Shelter Exile. We're going to decide who we want to spend a steamy night at the sanctuary with, who we want to have a lasting relationship in the shelter with, and who we want to send to Exile Island never to return. So, Becca, I've got a few names here, and I want you to tell me what if you want to send to Exile, share a shelter with, or a night at the sanctuary with these people. Let's start with Woo.
Woo. I love Woo. Woo is fun and handsome and athletic and entertaining. I am gonna share a shelter with Woo. I would like to have a long-term survivor bromance with Woo.
I think that's a good choice. Woo is a delightful, handsome man. What about Brandon?
Brandon. Brandon? Let me think about Brandon. Brandon is a crybaby. He did come around. Okay. In the beginning, when I first met him, I was like, I can't stand this guy. And he needs to go. And he wants to go. And that's fine. And then he redeemed himself, but still not enough to spend a night in the sanctuary with. So I'm going to send Brandon straight to Exile Island.
Goodbye, Brandon.
Goodbye. Cry
That
at
would
Exile Island.
I would just send him straight to the ocean to find a sea crate.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Medevac, get out of here. Okay, and then the best for last, I know for you.
Colby. Colby, baby, getting that sanctuary. Colby is one of the most handsome human beings I've ever seen. The older he gets, the cuter he gets. I just think he's extremely attractive, but I think he's kind of an ass. So a night in the sanctuary will be good. I don't think I want to spend any more time with
Okay,
him because
that's
I think it
fair.
would ruin his handsomeness. I would be like, you're kind of a jerk.
I looked at it because I was questioning your decision a little bit because I think Wu is, like, way hotter, so I was like, "Oh, he'd be the sanctuary dude." But I guess if you're talking, like, long term in the shelter, you get more Wu.
Yeah. I think Woo would be fun. I think Colby would be intense.
Yeah. What did you think about I don't know if you've seen any of these videos where they, were interviewing the survivor castaways for 50 and I'm not 100% clear on the context of this. It seems like
Yeah, I
it's
did see that
Squid
and I was
Game day.
confused. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, like, when they're still at Ponderosa or something, um, but they were asking him all these questions and stuff, and they asked, "Who do you wish was here? Who do you think should be here?" And Colby chose Jerry.
That's
He said
sweet.
it's not the same without her.
That's
I feel
sweet.
like they were almost gonna get together, and instead they hated each other.
Yeah. But I think every good relationship, you're on the cusp.
Yeah,
It's like you either like vibe really well or it's like extreme one way or the other.
yeah.
Mary, I'm going to turn the tables and
Really?
start with, and again, let me just recap real quickly. Three names. She's going to send one to Exile Island. One she's going to choose to have a long term shelter sharing relationship with. And the third will be a steamy night at the sanctuary. So she gets to pick one for each of these. Um, the first one I'm going to throw out there is Matt Blankenship.
I love Matt. I think he's so cute. I think I already said that earlier. Such a sweet dude. So smart.
I guess he's not going to
Doesn't
Exile Island.
crash. I think I'm gonna go long-term
What?
shelter. I
Okay.
feel like he would be a good long-term companion, I think. I mean, Frannie, she can tell us. Seems
That's
like he
true.
is.
That's true. Okay, next I have
Full of puzzles, so
that's
sorry,
true.
go ahead.
That's true. There's so many reasons you're gonna say the shelter with Matt Blankenship. Um, second,
Straight to Exile Island. He's a crap. Get out of here.
if you are watching this and you have TikTok, first of all, go follow us on TikTok at The Bitch Is Spoken. Second of all, please go follow Russell on TikTok because he's on live all the time, like never not on live. And my favorite thing about Russell is he's always online and he's buying Survivor memorabilia off of eBay and talking
Wild
about it.
card. That might be fun to watch, actually.
Yeah, but
That's a good gimmick.
it's interesting, and he talks exactly like you would think he would about topics you would think he would. So, go follow Russell if you don't. It's
He only has 11,000 followers.
people get on there. It's entertaining,
I'm gonna follow him right now.
but
What a
I
human
think
being.
sending him to Exile Island is a fabulous choice.
That's one for America.
Okay, third and final, you have one spot left to fill. Greg from season 1.
Perfect for a steamy night at the sanctuary. But let me clarify. I don't know what he looks like now, but I mean, I've seen some, like, semi-recent photos. So give me, like, 2000s Greg or today's Greg. Honestly, I don't care. I just always
Wait, I
thought
just
he
looked
was
him up. He's handsome today too.
okay, good. I never ever I gotta tell you this, Becca, I've never been, like, drawn to a blonde man or thought a blonde man was attractive, or at least at that point in my life, 'cause, Survivor came out when I was in high school, right? So, it was a shock to my core that I was, like, falling so madly in love with this guy who was a blonde boy, but he's so handsome
He is handsome.
and
He's a
smart. He's
doctor. Did you
such
know that?
I knew he had his PhD. I think he does, like, environmental stuff or something.
Very cool.
But I mean, he's funny, had a sense of humor, didn't take Survivor seriously. A whole
Well, he
package, but
designed
also probably would get annoying after a certain amount of time because I'm sure he's very full of himself.
YOLO. That's okay. That's why a steamy night's perfect. If we miss any survivor relationships, comment and we'll chat about them next week. But it is February, the season of love. So we wanted to kick it off with some romantic options. And the last thing I'll say is it's February, which means, drumroll, that season 50 officially airs this month.
Yay!
I'm so
We
glad.
actually have a couple of weeks now, right? Maybe 3 weeks?
Is it the 28th?
20 days, 3
20
weeks.
days. We can do it. And when it starts back, we'll be live streaming, I'm assuming. Yeah, Mary? again. So if you want to watch our live reactions on TikTok, we're over there. But if not, we will be on here weekly on Friday. The episodes will drop. But super pumped about season 50, 20 days away, baby.
Yay.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye.